It's the ever so exciting time that is the January transfer window, and we look forward to it in FIFA as much as we do in real life. In the case of Alexis Sánchez, it appears as if his time at Arsenal may be up. So now is the perfect opportunity to run a few FIFA experiments. With his contract running out in the summer, he can walk away for nothing. We'll look at a few rumored January destinations and transfer Alexis to each of those clubs in FIFA. Then we'll simulate the rest of the season to see if the move was considered successful or not. And then based off those results, we'll decide which is the best possible new destination for Alexis Sánchez. Unfortunately in FIFA, since his contract has less than a year remaining on it, we can only sign him on a free transfer. This means he can only move clubs in the offseason. To counter this, I manually added Sanchez to Man City and PSG rosters, left him in the reserves until the January window opened, and then inserted him into the respective starting lineups. It's not an ideal scenario, but at least it'll be somewhat realistic, since he'll be disgruntled in the game just like he is in real life. Starting with Manchester City, who are trying to acquire the Chilean last summer. They're absolutely killing it in league play and have cruised into the knockout stage of the Champions League. So do they actually need Alexis? Will it mess up the chemistry of the current squad, or will he provide the extra depth they need to win multiple pieces of silverware? I simulated Man City's season all the way into January, making sure every result matches up with their record in real life. Of course, I couldn't have the same score lines, but the wins, losses, and draws are the same. Not too difficult of a task considering how dominant they've been. Once it hit January, I added Alexis to the first team, replacing Sergio Aguero up front. It's really hard to justify taking away playing time from Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling, who is having one of the best seasons of his career. I also created a second team sheet that has Alexis playing on the left side, with budding superstar Gabriel Jesus leading the line. The opportunities are there for him to make an impact. So let's see how adding Alexis Sánchez in January affects Manchester City. A few games in and the Citizens are still winning games, but Sánchez hasn't scored yet. They notably got knocked out of the FA Cup against Chelsea, with Alexis failing to make an impact. And it appears the media are starting to question the move, as they've written, "Today marked the 7th game without a goal for Alexis Sánchez, no doubt leaving US in two minds over whether to continue fielding the 29-year-old wide man." It actually took until the end of February for Alexis to get his first goal, scoring in a win over Liverpool that was rescheduled from January. Manchester City are still going the course, with a quiet march from the Chilean, that is until April comes, with Alexis having a breakout performance at Goodison Park with a hat-trick against Everton. By this time, the Premier League title is as good as theirs, and winning the Champions League could very much be a possibility, with Bayern Munich standing in their way in the quarterfinals. It's been said the thrashing Bayern handed Arsenal in the Champions League last season made Alexis change his mind on signing a new deal. So it's fitting these ghosts are here to haunt him once again. Sanchez comes up big for his new club, scoring the first goal of the match, but Bayern pull back a crucial away goal as it ends 1-1. The second leg sees Alexis come through again, only to have Lewandowski tie it up, and then a late away goal from Raheem Sterling dramatically sends City through to the semi-finals. 2 goals in 2 big Champions League matches against Bayern of all teams. This could totally justify why City are keen on bringing in the Chilean in January. The semi-finals against Barcelona go City's way. First with a 1-1 draw away from home, and then a 1-0 victory at the Etihad via a Sergio Aguero goal. By now, Manchester City have comfortably won the Premier League, so we know that bringing in Alexis Sánchez didn't disrupt their league title chances. And now they're in the Champions League final against none other than Manchester United. Indeed, a FIFA simulation has brought us a legendary Manchester derby in June. In this final, Alexis does get a goal and helps secure City's Champions League glory. And it was Fabian Delph who scored the winner in the 106th minute, as most of you might have guessed. Alexis Sánchez had 8 goals in 25 appearances across all competitions, including 2 against Bayern in the Champions League quarterfinals and 1 in the final against Manchester United. So with acquiring Sánchez in FIFA in January, Man City went on to win the league, the Champions League, and even the Carabao Cup to complete a treble. We won't really know if Manchester City had enough to win all those competitions without signing Sánchez in January, but we do know it didn't hurt. Now to see what happens if he moves to PSG in January. Something very interesting to note is that Man City went and got Jesus Corona since we sent Sánchez to PSG in this save. I wonder how that would pan out. Would you guys rather have Tecatito instead of Sánchez? Let us know in the comments. As far as the formation goes for PSG, it's similar to what they use over at Man City. an attacking trident with 3 midfielders and a back line of 4. Alexis will replace Cavani up front, while he'll play out in the left in the secondary team sheet, just like we did in the Manchester City save. He was able to score a little sooner playing in France, bagging a brace in the Coupe de France against Paris FC. But similar again to the Man City save, we see the media criticizing Sánchez for his lack of goals. Finally, he gets a league goal against FC Metz, but it seems like there just aren't enough goals to go around. The team is still winning with Alexis as an everyday player though, while Mbappe has been absolutely killing it in the scoring category. In the Champions League, PSG were able to get past Napoli in the semi-finals 4-2 on aggregate. None of those 4 goals came from Alexis, however. He actually broke out with a hat trick to start off the month of April, and by then it looks as if the league title is pretty much a lock, just as it ended up being for Man City. The addition of Sánchez still resulted in victories even though most of the goals weren't coming from the Chilean. In the quarterfinals of the Champions League, they run into familiar foe Chelsea. The first leg goes to PSG 1-0 with an away goal coming from Thiago Silva of all people. The second leg, however, would not fare well for the Parisians, getting thrashed 3-1 at home. And that's basically it for PSG at that point. They cruise on their way to becoming Ligue 1 champions, winning it comfortably with 96 points, as well as both domestic trophies, the Coupe de France and the Coupe de la Ligue, but unlike the Man City save, fell short in the Champions League. Man City interestingly fell short in the PSG save as well, getting knocked out in the round of 16 without Alexis Sánchez at their disposal. For PSG, he ended up bagging 6 goals in 27 appearances with 0 assists. None of the goals came in any particular big moments, but the team's overall performance wasn't hindered. It wasn't an overwhelming individual success for Alexis in Paris, but it is something to build upon in the future. So when it comes down to it, FIFA tells us that Alexis Sánchez might be better suited staying in the Premier League playing for Man City. Not only did he score more goals for the citizens, he was involved in crucial moments that helped them achieve Champions League glory. What do you think? Should Alexis Sánchez transfer to Man City, PSG, or even somewhere else? Let us know in the comments.